Let's talk about red pill rage. Look, I understand where it comes from. You thought for the longest time that if you treated women nicely, they would love you unconditionally. You thought if you gave them everything they ever wanted, it would be yours forever. And you may have even thought that your own masculinity was toxic for a second there. But now you've learned the truth. Nice guys really do finish last. Women are very conditional with how they love you. Your masculinity is not toxic. And that the worst of femininity can be just as toxic as the worst of masculinity. Now you're angry. You've been lied to. You feel betrayed. And I get it. Betrayal is tough to get past. But guess what? You shouldn't be angry. You should be happy because now you know the truth. Now you know what women actually want. Now you know how to be a man worthy of female desire. And now you know how to protect yourself from the true dangers that exist in relationships between men and women. So
hello, my friends, and welcome back to another session with the older man. Today, my friends, we're going to talk about something that you guys probably all think you know what it's about because you're here. And that thing is, what is the red pill? Hey, listen, all of you, or probably most of you, understand completely where the term red pill came from if you've watched The Matrix, right? And you know, when Morpheus gave Neo the option of either taking the blue pill or the red pill. Let me see if I can play the little clip here. And hopefully it doesn't get, clipped by the algorithm. If it does, I might have to take it out. But the idea is red pill gives you reality. Blue pill basically make you stay in this illusion that has been created for you.
You have to see it for yourself.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And this came about because I get a lot of people who saying, oh, you're so red pill. Oh, this is just some other red pill bullshit. Oh, this is just red pill. And in most cases, it's done in a very derogatory fashion. So I never grew up knowing that term, red pill or blue pill. I just understood it from my father and his friends as simply, you got to understand woman, you got to know woman. You have to understand these woman them, because if you think that them acting right, you're wrong. So that is the kind of attitude I grew up with men who had gone through hard times with women. But of course, this sort of thinking was popularized in America. Whether it was Rollo Tomasi that came up with the point of being red pill or blue pill after The Matrix came out, that's a whole other story. Because America loves beautiful little labels in packages where they can explain something complex in a very simple term. But when you listen to other people talk about red pill, even men...
Hey Jim, so what is the red pill community?
They're groups of men that have basically attributed much of their problems to the women's movement. It's a group of men who are anti-feminist, who really have developed a belief system that women are actually in control of the society and that women hold privilege. And they attribute much of their problems to women. There's a link between the incel movement and the red pill movement. It's based on misogyny, really entitlement. It's unfortunately something that is also linked in lots of different ways to online violence. Some of their platforms on Reddit, for instance, have been banned because it's leading to violence. So basically, the red pill movement is groups of men that are projecting their problems onto women as the cause of all of it.
Rarely men become red pill until they have been destroyed by women. Really bad breakups or horrific divorces. So when he say contributed by women, you have to understand that the illusion the woman creates for a man is a powerful thing. Men fall in love ideologically. Women fall in love based on what that man can do for her. It's a matter of survival. Women will not fall in love with the barista or the guy that's on fries on McDonald's, but the man will. So this idea that this man is putting down those men who have been red pill because of pain, because reality is a nasty pill to swallow. That red pill is a nasty pill to swallow. So yes, some men will take it to an extreme where they now hate women because they have been burnt and have been beaten so bad by the system. So to say that men believe the system is against them because it's more female-centric, it is. The system is female-centric. Ask any man that's gone through a divorce. The courts do not favor men. HR don't favor men. Colleges don't favor men. When you call the cops, they favor the woman first. I'm seeing that this is slowly starting to change, but it's still an issue. So believing that the system is set up for women, it is, my friend. In today's modern society, it is. So to state that it isn't without providing proof that it isn't pretty much shows that you have no idea what this world is all about. More than likely, this guy is a blue pill guy. I don't know who he is, but he has a very shallow way of looking at life. A lot of men have a different opinion or a different description or analogy on what red pill is. In this video, I want to break down what I think the red pill is and how I think you should look at it. And by seeing it my way, not saying it's the only way, I think you can encompass exactly what my message is all about. And so you can understand why I don't see it as red pill, but also for you to understand how we got here and why we're here as men. And so, my friends, let's get into it. Subscribe if you haven't. Please like this video. You know, if you can do anything for me free, just like the video. Stop it right now, like it, so that the algorithm can keep pushing it out. You know, if you want to support me further, by all means, book a chat. Buy my content creators toolkit so that you can start creating your own content. Hey, and if you want more free stuff, go over to the description section of this video and all of my videos. And I give you a lot of offers and a lot of different things free stuff, a lot of free stuff. I show you a lot of recommendations, what software I use, my AI software, my editing software, etc. You click on any of those links if you want to use those products. I get a small commission. I don't ask for much, guys, but hey, this is what I do full time, so any support is highly appreciated. So I know fundamentally the red pill is an ideology. What is an ideology? Let's ask ChatGPT, what is the definition of an ideology? Can you tell me again, what is an ideology?
Sure. An ideology is essentially a collection of ideas and principles that explain how society should work. It forms the basis for economic, political, and social policies and actions.
So those ideologies can be either negative or positive, correct?
Absolutely. Ideologies can have positive or negative impacts depending on how they're interpreted and applied. They can inspire constructive change or lead to conflict, depending on the context and implementation.
What is the general consensus of red pill ideology?
The red pill ideology typically emphasizes awareness about certain perceived truths in society, often related to gender dynamics and relationships. Supporters believe it offers a realistic perspective, while critics argue it can be overly cynical or problematic. It's a polarizing topic with strong opinions on both sides.
Okay, thank you. So there you go. It's an ideology. So understanding what it is and how we apply it is crucial for you gentlemen to understand it. But here's my idea of the basic tenets of red pill. Red pill is an ideology that shows men the true nature of female and relationship dynamics. I'm only going to apply the red pill to relationship, okay? Now, I want you to think about how men were groomed to think about women and why it was important. So back in the day, when women never had a lot of physical or economic rights, because left on our own devices where there was not a lot of protection for women. See, today we got police forces, we got all of these different protection systems that have been set up for women, that have been set up to police societies, right? It's important to understand that back in the day when they only had one sheriff for a whole town, if a woman had owned property on her own 5-10 miles away from the center of the town where that one sheriff resides, who had to reach her by horse, that woman out in the middle of the wilderness, all it took was one strong man and a gun or no gun, and she couldn't hold on to that property. That man could literally just come in, kill her, claim the property, find the deed where she have it. That's it, done. So you have to understand that, and that's one of the reasons why it was difficult for women to have their own property. And that would apply to all the livestock. That would apply to any resources she had on that land. Any one man would come in and simply just take it. She would have no protection whatsoever. So it was important for a woman to have the protection of a man. Fast forward into a modern society in the middle of a city, it was still very difficult until large police forces was implemented and things started to change. But back in those days, the woman had to be under a man's protection. She couldn't venture out on her own. And because women were always in that vulnerable position, it was in her best interest to pair with a husband. Simple. I'm breaking it down in its most simplest form. So it was important for a woman to find a man to partner with from the time she was able to leave her father's home. Puberty, really. Because it was difficult for a woman to function anywhere else on her own. Correct? But how does she persuade a man to take on that very dangerous role of providing and protecting for her? What, especially when she's going to have kids. Because remember, my friends, the importance of every single species on this earth, their goal is to be born, live as best as they can, and reproduce their DNA in order to pass on their next generation. You and I, come from a long line of surviving organisms from 500,000 years ago. The only reason that you and I exist is because our parents reproduce, and our grandparents and our great-grandparents and their great-great-great and their great-parents, and it goes way back since to the beginning of time. That's the only reason we are here. We are here because they survived and they actually had sex. Think about that. We take this shit for granted these days. So survival amongst the species was essential. But how do you get a man to feel that he should take on this role of providing for me and then reproducing with me? I had to make myself as beautiful as possible. I had to be useful to him. I had to show that I am someone that would be an asset to him so that he would take on that role. And the women who are not overly beautiful, who weren't that tall, etc., a lot of these women understood that they had to settle for men who were not the richest. They were not the most handsome. He was not the tallest. They had to settle for that. That was just it. Every woman understood her beauty, her stature, and her willingness to work with the man was essential for her to secure a good man. Simple. In its purest form, that is how our species survived and got to this point. The ideology at that time, I don't understand this. We've got to go back to the social ideology. Society had to make women appear as pure, as virgin-like, as angelic, as demure, and as sweet as possible in order for those men to see her as attractive. You got to understand these things. So when we get poems like, what's that one? Girls are, let me find out how it go. I can't remember it now. Can you repeat that nursery rhyme? Girls are nice and like sugar and spice, and boys, I can't remember the full thing, but please repeat the full poem for me.
Sure. The nursery rhyme goes, what are little girls made of? Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what little girls are made of. What are little boys made of? Snips and snails and puppy dogs' tails. That's what little boys are made of.
And what is the general translation of that?
The rhyme is a playful way of describing traditional gender stereotypes. Sugar and spice and everything nice suggests that girls are sweet and pleasant, while Snips and Snails and Puppy Dog's Tails portrays boys as more mischievous or rough. It's an old-fashioned view reflecting how society used to see gender roles.
How old is this rhyme?
It's a traditional nursery rhyme that has been around for centuries. It's part of Old English folklore and was first published in the early 19th century.
Are there any other folklore or poems like this that you can tell me that existed in even different cultures?
Yes, many cultures have traditional rhymes or folklore. For example, in China, there's the three-character classic, which teaches Confucian values. In Japan, Momotaro is the popular folktale about a boy born from a peach. In Russia, the Kolobok story is about a little round bun who escapes and goes on adventures. Each of these tales carries cultural values and lessons.
Are these still highlighting the fact that women are sweet?
They often reflect traditional values and roles, which can emphasize different qualities in men and women. While some stories highlight sweetness or nurturing in women, others might emphasize bravery or wisdom. These narratives are a reflection of cultural norms from their times.
So all I'm trying to show you, my friends, is that centuries back, women were always portrayed as the sweet ones. Their true nature was never really highlighted. And this was essential for the woman to make sure that she could attract a man. And society knew that. They had to emphasize this. This was the first part of feminism, so to speak. I do that in quotes because it wasn't called feminism. It was still trying to show women were worth fighting for. Men would go to wars over women. Men would fight to the death over women. Chivalry was important. Men put women way above themselves. But of course, feminism don't want you to see all of that shit. Today's modern feminism, no. They don't want you to see all of that. And even throughout history, as we sort of move into the modern times now, and feminism poked its ugly head in for the changes, and this is as societies became more civilized, women said, we want more rights. We want more. We're not getting enough. We had created armies to protect the country. We created massive police forces that protect cities and society and smaller society. And the world was becoming progressively more safe. Medicine and technology was enhancing a lot of safety in the homes. Homes were built much more robust with concrete and steel. So the protection of the woman was much more pronounced. But of course, female nature, that wasn't enough. Women kept pushing for more and more. And men kept saying, yeah, I want to protect my family. I want to protect my wife and family. I'm going to keep building more and more to protect my family, my woman, and my kids. But then a whole new ideology stepped in. Feminism. It started to push and push. First wave feminism, right to work, right to vote. The reason why women couldn't vote was because, hey, you weren't going to war. You weren't allowed to go to war. The only reason that men were allowed to vote was because men had to vote on whether they were going to go to war or not. Women wanted that right. Okay. They also want the choice of not going to war. Men gave them that right. And then one law after the next started to come in to protect women, all at the expense of men. The divorce laws and all these other laws came into place. Women said, I want the right to work. And we know how that went. More workers flooded into the marketplace. Wages went down. And the average man no longer can able to pay for his whole entire family. So finances were split in between men and women, the whole 50-50 thing. The women who didn't want it and still wanted to be taken care of, they're arguing, I want a man to take care of 100% of my bills. Those days are gone. There's no more provider male. So feminism came in and demanded all of these things. And essentially, these women wanted all of the perks of chivalry and days gone by, but none of the bad things. Women say, I want it all. This was just a general mantra. And up until today, every woman says, I want it all. I deserve it all. Men don't deserve it all. For some reason, women were convinced that men had it all. When every man has to go and struggle for himself, fighting against other men, now other men and women for those top positions. Men never, ever, 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 ever had it all. He had to work for every single freaking step up that ladder. He had to bust his ass to get it. He had to compete against other ruthless men. Feminism said, no, you women deserve a chance. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, however you want to look at it, my friends, women want all the options, and she also want the option to succeed. Men never, ever, ever had that option. He had to fight for everything. So, back in the day, men who had multiple women, men who had understood female nature, were primarily the pimps and the players. The men who had a lot of women at their disposal understood the dark nature of females. And there's nothing dark about it. It's just normal. Women play the game of survival simply by manipulating men. And those men understood the manipulation game. But society wants us to feel that that's normal for a woman, and she deserved to manipulate a man. Tinder swindler, for example. One man manipulates a lot of women to get resources, that man is put in prison. But every day, day in, day out, women are manipulating men for their resources, and nothing happens. That's just normal. Red pill, my friend, shows you the true nature of a woman. That's it. Simple. There is no sugar and spice with a woman. That's what she shows you on the surface. That's what lures you in. But in reality, she's only looking out for the survival of herself and her offspring if she has any. Hypergamy and greed is part of her nature. Now, if you understand hypergamy and you understand greed, we will always understand female nature. A woman will always look to upgrade. It's part of her nature. If she becomes more dominant than you in any field, she will lose respect for you. That is just her nature. That's not red pill. That's just nature.
Whenever we feel more powerful than a man, we feel unsafe. She will always feel like she's more powerful than you. And whenever she feels like he's not protecting, she feels more powerful and then she becomes disrespectful. But when she has a man that's protective of her, both her safety, her emotions, and finances, she then allows him to take control. And whenever we feel more powerful than a man, we feel unsafe. And that unsafety makes us disrespect him and then look for other men. Wow. It's almost evolved. So therefore, if it can protect us in those ways, we remain feeling safe. So it's essential.
Now, you might call it greedy, and probably it is, because we all know that a woman will destroy her family for her happiness, where a man will give up his happiness for his family, which is, in essence, nature. It's no different from the male praying mantis. When mating with the female praying mantis, after having sex, the female will rip the man's head off to eat it for nourishment for her kids.
Courtship among praying mantises can take an unexpected turn when the female sometimes consumes her mate in a phenomenon known as sexual cannibalism. This act provides the female with essential nutrients for her developing eggs. Despite the shocking nature of this behavior, it offers valuable insights into the intricate reproductive dynamics in the animal kingdom.
That's just part of nature. In human beings, it's the same thing. A woman will freaking destroy a man just for her survival and for her kids. So we have to understand nature, my friends. But the problem with human beings is that we tend to ignore biology and nature. We tend to think that we're better than that. Oh, we can control our urges. So what if a man produces 850 million sperms a day and he needs to put them somewhere? He got to control that. Oh, but when a woman has her period once a month and produces an egg and she gets irritable and freaking frantic, oh, we have to understand that. You see what I'm saying, my friends? Red pill is literally just making us understand nature and biology when it comes to human beings and realizing that that's who we are. That's who women are. Men were never supposed to be monogamous. Never. 99.9999% of animals in nature, the males, are never, ever monogamous. Very rarely. And to be honest, very rarely are the women. And this is one of the reasons why you see women who are constantly having babies by a different man. This is nature. We are animals. In the essence of it, we are freaking animals. So what we're seeing is we're seeing different men who have different ideas of what red pill is.
You're being lied to. It doesn't matter if she's your girlfriend or wife. She will cheat on you with somebody more successful. Fear women. Fear, and then come to me so I can take that fear away and buy my course. She's not yours. It's just your turn. They don't know how to love. Listen to someone who's single like me so I can give you advice on how to not be single. I choose to be single. It's my choice. I choose to be single. Share my insecurities with me. They will cheat, and you need to know that. Ruin all your relationships and buy my course in the bio. Women only care about money. Trust me, I'm single with a lot of money. I know what I'm talking about. Course in the bio.
Yeah, there are red pill coaches that do that, right? But none of what he said is wrong. Women will cheat. It's just part of nature. Based on hypergamy, the beautiful thing about the internet is that we see this playing out on a daily basis. It's nothing that this guy said about the coaches that are telling you that it's wrong. They're just pointing it out. Now, because the guy is single, he's criticizing the guy for that. Now, I've been married for 20 years, but I've been through 2 divorces already. So I know what I'm talking about, okay? I'm an old hoof. I didn't know I was teaching you red pill knowledge until I actually getting told that, this is just red pill knowledge. Go figure.
All of these red pill dudes talk about how much these girls are absolute hoes, and then they still sleep with them. They talk about how much of a slut this girl is, and all of these dudes are sliding into the DMs of girls who are posting thirst traps. I'm telling you right now, I've stayed away from a lot of those dudes. I've had the unfortunate experience of meeting one or two of them, and these are potentially some of the lamest dudes with women that you will ever find in your entire life. I don't know. That whole space is very funny.
This is another man, good-looking dude. I just don't understand why he would think that there's a distinct difference between sliding in and having sex with these women is not significantly different than marrying them. I don't care. I don't understand where his logic lies. Sure, these red pill guys are basically going to say, hey, she's giving it up. I'll take it. She's trying to finesse and manipulate men. I'll take advantage of that shit. I got my shit together. I understand her nature. Yeah, I'm going to knock it down, but I'm not going to marry it. So I don't understand where his argument lies. If you guys know, let me know. The thing about being red pill is that once you've gone red pill, you can't go back. Once you've seen it, once you've seen the reality of female nature, and then you start to identify it when your eyes are open, you cannot go back to being blue pill, thinking that it's going to be okay.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
It's because the blue pill is quite nice and really beautiful. Oh, look at this woman. Her hair is shining and she wants me to spend money on her. And I know that if I spend money on her, that she's going to be mine, because she's just making it very obvious that, if I take care of her, she's going to be mine forever. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. No. We know that that's not going to be the case. She's going to be my wife forever. Very, very rarely. Over 70% of women divorce their man. 70, and it can go up to 90% based on how educated she is. The stats don't freaking lie. For a man to think that he should stay in that blue pill, yes, these women are just amazing, is an idiot. You want to see how bad it is? Go in the comment section of any video that I post about divorce, marriage. The stories are painful.
Working definition of the red pill is a set of knowledge and know-how that facilitates the construction of a worldview that pertains to men's place in society and to intersexual dynamics in particular. It's red pill in that this worldview deviates in significant ways from the dominant social narratives about those topics. I don't think that the red pill is equivalent to male feminism, and I definitely don't see the red pill as anti-woman. In fact, I believe that many of the understandings in that knowledge set can and do substantially benefit women, in that they can enable women to have much more satisfying relationships with the men of their choosing. So that's my working definition of the red pill.
I agree with Dr. Taraban here. In reality, red pill benefits women. Let me explain why. Number one, if a man is aware of hypergamy, he makes sure that he stays ahead of his wife when it comes to knowledge, making money, and social status. Because he knows if she becomes better than him in any of those areas, she will naturally start to lose respect for him. Okay? So she gets a man that is constantly working for her. Number two, the man stays in great physical shape so that she will always be admiring him. Of course, she has to do the same thing if she don't want to lose her man. So if she learns that this is important to him and she sees that he's leading by example, her health stays better and his stays at peak condition as well. Red pill. If she starts to dominate him in any way, shape, or form, she then realizes that I could roll over this man anytime I want and he's no longer a leader. Red pill will always tell you, don't let your woman test you. Red pill will also tell you, protect your assets. Make sure you get a trust. Make sure you get a prenup. Make sure you treat your marriage like a business when you set it up, because it is. Anything where you have to sign a legal contract, you're in business. And in turn, you're in business with the state and with that woman. And both of them are not on your side. That's red pill knowledge. Red pill knowledge. Don't let your kids disrespect you. Keep them disciplined. Make sure that they work. Make sure that they have responsibilities. It's all red pill knowledge. None of that has to do with hate and misogyny. If she wants to become a doctor, she wants to become a lawyer, that's her thing. But if you're going to support that, you got to make sure that you become that lawyer and doctor first. Because if you build her above you, my friend, you're going to have a problem. That's red pill knowledge. None of that is against a woman. It's all for women. So here's this Sadia Khan piece that just kind of made me frustrated. She don't usually say a lot of stupid stuff, but this was really stupid, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.
Community sets men up so badly for long-term relationships. It tells men you have to have a high body count. Cool. They go out and have a high body count, but you have to be with a virgin. Okay. But when they go out into the real world, after they've had a high body count, they are not sexually compatible with a virgin. They are so easily bored by a virgin. They don't know how to work a virgin. They don't have the patience to teach a virgin how to behave in a way that they are pleased with. So they always end up, maybe they'll marry a good woman. They'll go straight to the escorts when they want their pleasure, because they cannot be emotionally and sexually compatible with a virgin, because a true virgin who's good, who's genuinely good, wouldn't select a man that's been sleeping around. So he probably has to fake it to get that good woman. And then while he's being fake, he needs a very promiscuous woman to serve his genuine need.
That was just a pile of word salad. The bottom line is that every woman wants a man who is admired and wanted by other women, whether she's a virgin or whether she's a hoe. That's the reality of life. The woman will get turned on by that man. Virgins don't get turned on by other virgins who don't get punani, because men don't control how much sex they get. Women controls that. Women give the man access to the sex. That means that if he's not attractive enough, he's not going to get any. If he don't have enough money, if he don't have enough suave and game and frame, he's not going to get it. So whether she's a virgin, his wife, or not, she's not going to be attracted to him. But if the man has the suave and the kick and the frame and the game, that virgin is going to want to do things to please him, because she now knows that, wow, I got a good man here. And there's nothing more pleasurable to a man than teaching his wife what he wants done. And I will assume with a lot of certainty that if she kept herself for a man, she's a woman that's thinking, okay, I have kept myself for my man, for my husband. I'm now going to look forward to him teaching me. And for a man, that's a beautiful thing. So she's just looking at it from a female perspective. Disappointed by this comment, actually.
Red pill community had been birthed out of Black Twitter, because for the past decade, maybe decade plus, Black men has used Twitter as a space to publicly speak about what's wrong with Black women, why they don't want to date Black women, the reason why Black women are desirable. It's become a degrading experience for Black.
Yeah, that's a stupid comment. Red pill wasn't born out of Black Twitter. Female knowledge was around way before that. The bottom line is men started talking about Black women in the manosphere when the frustration on how Black women acted with the whole sexual liberation, with the whole I don't need a man era, where a lot of women were having kids out of wedlock. That had nothing to do with red pill. Nothing. None of these things had anything to do with red pill. Female knowledge was around way before that, my friend. So that wasn't red pill that was born there. Frustrated Black men who were now dealing with women who were thinking way too freaking radical, because there's no other race of women who abandoned their men. None. Black women were the only ones that said, I don't need a man. No other race said that. You let me know if I'm wrong.
Fellas, you need to be careful. If you're looking at red pill stuff, it is demonic, and let me tell you why. So to know if something is good or bad, you have to look at its fruits. Is it bearing good fruits or bad fruits? So is it pulling you closer to God or away from God? And we have to zoom out whenever we look at this. So basically, red pill is teaching men to become more masculine, to increase their sexual market value, to ultimately get laid. with a lot of girls. And it's teaching men stuff like
red pill is teaching men to become more manly. And oh, do you even want to listen to the rest of this shit? From the time a man tells me that red pill is teaching me how to become more of a man by getting laid and telling me that that's a bad thing, all I'm going to do is just stop it and laugh at him. Oh, man. You know what? Let's just listen. Let's hear what else he has to say.
Like, oh, you know, let the girl text first. Don't text her twice. And make sure you talk to 5-10 girls at once, all those kind of things, right? So if the ultimate purpose is for men to get laid, ask yourself, is that good or bad? Is that really what you want? You really think that's going to make you happy? Something as fleeting as that? And I'm telling you this because if you feel like you're not masculine because you haven't gotten laid or gotten with X amount of girls, that's not what it means to be masculine. Being masculine is to step into your purpose, and you do that by focusing on Jesus Christ. In fact, Jesus Christ is the ultimate example of what it means to be biblically masculine because he had a tall task. He was tasked to basically sacrifice himself to save the world. And he knew it was going to be painful being crucified on a cross. Yet,
see why I don't mess with religion. This is the kind of crap that men actually believe. Jesus Christ said, "Turn the other cheek." Jesus was one of the most passive men that existed. Whether he was real or not, it's irrelevant. To give up your life for everybody else for no reward, not for what? Anyway, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the religious thing, but gentlemen, you got to be careful about how and who you listen to on these issues, such as red pill. I just wanted to basically highlight the problems that we men have in this whole red pill space, because I want you to know and understand that I am not red pilled. I am teaching you how women think. I am teaching you the realities of the world. Whether you want to call it red pill, that's totally up to you. I prefer not to use the term. I'm just teaching you female nature, my friend. And this comes from my life experience. This comes from my father's, his friends who I call my uncles, you know, guys from way back in the day. And a lot of it came from a knowledge acquired over the many years of existence. Okay? So let me know what you guys think. Of course, I would love to know your analogy of the red pill. And once again, like the video before you leave, please. And subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, my friends, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.